Okay, so we were doing verse number 12 of the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and as we progress, we will pay attention to two, three commentaries, and there's a bit academic discussion on the question which Chinmay was raising yesterday, that these phalatyagis, the sarva karma phalatyagis, are also doing sadhana. They have no attachment. What about their future? Are they going to be reborn? Or are they going to suffer? Shouldn't they get some moksha? What is the benefit of Vividisa sannyasa or some sort of? So there is a bit of doubt in the minds of the sadhakas. Are we going to get something? Are we not going to get anything? So that is discussed at length by Madhusudana Saraswati. The result is not very encouraging, so far Madhusudana is concerned. There are two other commentators who are very generous, and they also think that the jnana phala, the jnana nishta phala, like self-realization, is possible also in case of sarva karma phala tyagis. And these two commentators are Nilakantha and Sridhara. And they're great commentators. So that is a very powerful position they have taken, but that is refuted by both Bhagavan Pujyapada Sankaracharya, and also that is reiterated and summarily rejected by our great commentator Madhusudana Saraswati. We have to take him seriously because he is the latest commentator who has rejected others' views, and then he was a great bhakta of Lord Krishna. So, he is a very powerful voice. So, we will pay attention to all that he says, even though it's a little hair splitting, maybe a little challenging at times. We'll deal and complete that commentary today on the verse number 12. What is the verse all about? It's saying that there are these three phalas: Anishtam, Ishtam, Mishram cha Trividam Karmanaha Phalam. So, there are three kinds of phalas of karma, of all the karmas you're doing. Bhavati atyaginam pritya natu sannyasinam prachid. These three phalas applies to atyagis. Now the doubt there is, why did not use the word sannyasi? He's saying atyaginam. And the moment you say atyagi, the guy who is a sarva karma phalatyagi, he is not a atyagi. So he will not get this karma phala. That is the doubt, right? Which will be there in the minds of people who are trying to make sense of it. Natu sannyasinam kvachit. That is a problem with the atyagis, those who are not tyagis. Now, the sarva karma phala tyagis are not. But in case of sannyasis, they will not get any such rebirth. That is all he's trying to say. Let us look at how Sankaracharya analyzes it. Anishtam. What is the anishta thing? Whatever is not pleasant is anishta. You know. Thomas Hobbes talks about two powerful forces which moves human beings in the pursuit of whatever they are trying to pursue. He says one is pleasure, the other one is pain. Whatever gives us pleasure, we call it good. Whatever gives us pain, we call it evil or bad. That is how the whole motor activity of our mind is kind of engineered by certain feeling of good or bad. And the same thing is repeated and kind of enhanced by Jeremy Bentham and William James and James Mill and the father of John Stuart Mill and Jeremy Bentham. These are the English utilitarians or the hedonists. Okay, so you had the Greek hedonists and they are the new utilitarians. So we say, no, he is a very utilitarian guy. Whatever is useful is good. Or that is their philosophy. Very briefly, pleasure is the highest goal in one sentence. Now he's saying, what is Ishta? Whatever is going to give you pleasure or happiness is your Ishta. You like it. Naraka tiryagadi lakshanam. That is Anishta. What is Anishta? What doesn't give you happiness? And what is it? Naraka, Tiryag. Tiryag means animal birth, because we are standing on our spine straight. Okay, and the animals are kind of Tiryag yonis because they move. They're kind of horizontal beings. Naraka, that is going to hell. Tiryagadi Lakshanam. So rebirth as animals or reptiles as birds, whatever. Lakshanam. Ishtam, what is Ishta? Devadi Lakshanam. So you are reborn as a goddess or a god or a devata, okay, having some sort of a angelic body. Mishram, when you mix, you're getting some good aspects, some bad aspects. What kind of body you're going to get? Ishta Nishta Sanyuktam Manushya Lakshanam. All of us are like that. Some good qualities we have, some bad qualities. So we're going to get some mixture of Ishta Nishta. And that is what the human body, the human framework is all about. So evam trividam tri prakaram karmanaha dharma dharma lakshanasya phalam. Dharma and adharma. Dharma dharma lakshanasya phalam. Trividam. These three kinds of phalas we get. Then he's explaining. Vahya aneka karaka vyapara nispannam sad. Because if any work happens, so there is an agency, karta, then there is karana, some tools are used, right? And then there is a kriya and there is an object, karma. So you have an agent or a karta, then there's a karma, that is the object, there is a kriya, the process, there is a vyapara, you want to achieve it, and there are instruments, means, which are called karanas. Then indriyas and gyanindriyas, of course, the internal, which are attached to your part of your body, they also come into play. Bahya aneka karaka vyapara nispannam. So this is a functioning, a process where a lot of factors are involved. Sad अविद्याकृतम इंद्रजाल मायापमम महामोहकरम प्रत्यग आत्म उपसर्पि इव फल्गुतया लयम अदर्शनम गच्छति इति फल निर्वचनम. Now what is that phalam? Phalam here is actually referring to the rebirth with a human body. I mean, you can be of any other body. So he is trying to explain this, that avidya kritam, first thing is ajnana, that we are not atma, we are this body. That is the prime factor of our rebirth. Then indrajala mayapamam. So this is a delusional thing. This is not our reality. We are pure consciousness trapped in this body. Mahamohakaram. And it creates great attachment. This is my wife, this is my son, this is my brother, and this is my job, this is my status. This great attachment it creates. And then pratyag atma upasarpi, and it is asrita. On what? That pratyag atma. And this pratyag atma, Shuddha Chaitanya that we are, is not different from the Shuddha Chaitanya everywhere, which is Brahman. So pratyag atma, it's dependent on this. That is the adhisthana of this framework that we identify as ourselves. Iva upasarpi iva phalgutaya layam. What is Phalgu? Phalgu Nadi, you know, it is kind of invisible, right? It moves below the earth's surface. Phalgutaya is not real, something which is asara. In Sanskrit, Phalgu symbolizes something which is meaningless, something which is apparently a reality but doesn't have any substance, and it vanishes very quickly. Okay, so that way, so he's saying Phalgutaya layam adarsam gachati. This body we get, very quickly it becomes old, and then what? It falls, it dies. Adarsanam gachati iti phalam. Iti phala nirvachanam. So this phala sabda is a karmanaha phalam. Ishta, anishta, mishra. These are three kinds of phalas of the karmis. What are these? Jiva sarira, I mean the animal body, or you have angelic celestial body, or you have a human body. These are the three outcomes. These are referred to as phalam because these are outcomes of ignorance, of entrapment in a faulty understanding of who we are. And therefore, we are forced back onto earth because of our attachment. That is what the Vedanta is explaining. Tad etad eva lakshanam phalam bhavati atyaginam. This is the only outcome which the atyagis are destined to meet with. They'll reap the benefits in the form of a rebirth. And who is this atyagi? Ajnanam karminam. So these are the karmis. Now, karmi can become a karma yogi or who can be a safalakami, karmi. That guy is the worst because he's a karmi with a phala bhavana. He has also craving for results. That is 90% of the sansara. But there are maybe 5% who are karma yogis. They are doing karma with phalatyaga. They are a shade better. They are in between. And finally, there are people who are not interested in the phalas. They are not interested in the karmas. So they are both, they're the people who are neither interested in karmas nor the phalas they are of. So they are not karma phalatyagis, but sarva karma tyagis. They are the sannyasis. Okay? Ajnanam karminam aparamartha sannyasinam. Why is he using the word aparamartha sannyasinam? Because we have also gauna sannyasis who are karma phala tyagi nitya sannyasi. Bhagavan has praised them even earlier, and therefore is specifically referring to the category of people who are not sarva karma sannyasi, means who are not in the ultimate stage of their sadhana as jnana yogis, who have completed the course of Nishkama Karma and Antakarna Shuddhi. Once they have cleansed their internal consciousness, the Antakarna, which is the mind, Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara, all that they have purified, and then they have taken Vividasa Sannyasa, they have completed the Jnana course as well. They are Paramartha Sannyasis. Okay? But other than that, Aparamartha Sannyasinam, okay, who are not like that, Pritya Sarira Patat Urdhvam. So they will get these rebirths after they die, after the body falls. Not the Paramartha Sannyasina, who are the real sannyasis, they are Paramartha Sannyasis, who are the essential sannyasis. It's not out of love or affection somebody wears some saffron clothes and we address him as Maharaj. He may be actually a simple watchman in an ashram. But because he starts wearing saffron clothes, people also start treating him as a sadhu. But he's not one. Similarly, the Sarva Karma Phalatyagis are glorified as Nitya Sannyasis because he has no desire, but he is not elevated to that ultimate stage of a Sarva Karma Sannyasi. So, natu Paramartha Sannyasinam, Paramahansa Parivrajakanam, Kevala Jnana Nishthanam Kuchide. So, these Parama Jnana Nishta, Paramahansa Parivrajaka, Paramahansa Hansa, you have this Kutichaka, Bahudaga, the Kutichaka who stays in the house outside his, and he takes rickshaw from his own son or daughter in law. He lives outside in an outhouse or maybe at the corner of that town. He's a Kutichaka sannyasi. And then you have Bahudaka. They go and live by the other side because there are a lot of water rituals and they do a lot of upasanas. Then you have these Parivrajakas. Then there are Hangsha and a Paramahangsha. You have Dandis who hold the Dandadi. Then you have Tridandis, the Vaishnava sannyasis. But you have the Paramahansa sannyasis, those who do not carry that staff. They are not Dandi sannyasis. But the orthodox Sankaracharya sannyasas, if you take it from one of these Sankaracharya pitas, they always carry their danda. And also they do a lot of rituals every day. They are kind of duty bound to do those rituals every day. The Paramahansas, they don't do anything. Much more liberal in that sense. Then Avadhuta, he doesn't follow anything. He can't even, he can even wear white clothes. There are no rules, nothing applies to him. He's Abadhuta, the top sannyasi. Okay? So, in a way, if you look at Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa, if you look at Ramana Maharshi, Nisarga Nath Datta, and all these people are, in a way, are Abadhutas. They are beyond these sannyasis because they are Vidya sannyasis. They already have Atmic Jnana. Now, coming back to our discourse. Nahi kevala samyak darsana nishta avidyadi sansara vijam na unmulayanti. ऐसा कभी नहीं कर सकते हो कि once you have kevala samyak darsana nishta, only you are focused on that Atma Tattva. You have become Sattva Samavishta. If you are so pure, then avidyadi sansara vijam na unmulayanti. You cannot say that kind of nishta doesn't remove the seeds of rebirth. Obviously it does. That is the meaning. Kadachit ityartha. That is how he is completing. He is saying ataha paramadarshina eva asesa karma sannyasitvam sambhavati. Ataha, only in case of Paramartha Darshis. That means not Pratiko Upasakas, not people who are karma sannyasis, karma phalatyagis, but ultimate sannyasis. then they have already dropped all attachment to any karmas, and therefore they have elevated themselves to the highest level, and they shall not be reborn at all. That is the purpose of this discourse. That's how Sankaracharya says. But there are two other people who want to be a little generous with karma phala tyagis, saying that this privilege of no birth perhaps can also be extended to these karma phala tyagis who are without asanga, attachment, without phala without agency and without craving for results. They are doing karma. They are like Janaka, and they are definitely very pure. Why should they be reborn? That is the purpose of this argument. And then Madhusudana Saraswati is going to refute it in a very elaborate scholastic way. And because it's a long commentary, we'll try to do it. I mean, we may not be interested because we already know what he's going to say, but we will do it because in future, because we are recording it, if somebody is interested to read the text, he will benefit from it. Okay, let's start with the introduction to this verse given by Madhusudana. Nano deha vritaha, the guy who is still having deha dharana. That means he has some kind of a sukshma sthula sarira vimana. Deha vritaha paramatma jnana sunyasya. जिसको परमात्मा का ज्ञान नहीं हो, he doesn't have the ultimate self realization. Karminaha api, and then he's still doing karmas. Karma phalabhisandhi tyagitvena, but he has renounced the craving for results. He's not thinking about positive outcomes. He continues to do it with a sense of dutifulness. Gauna sannyasinaha. So there is a mukhya sannyasi, but he is also considered to be sannyasi. Gauna sannyasinaha. Paramatma Jnanavata. When you talk about these Gauna sannyasis, invariably we all think about the women in culturally orthodox family backgrounds in Eastern India, also in North India, but more in Eastern India or even Southern India, where a husband dies and then the wife has to wear white clothes and she has to stop eating onions and garlics. And she'll not even take prasadam of anybody. In Bengal, Orissa, they take prasadam only of Lord Krishna or Jagannath. So because they consider themselves to be kind of married to Lord Krishna, or so they will have to do this Kartik and the kind of a very strict, life of penance they live. So aren't they Gauna sannyasis? It's like that. So this Sarva Karma Phalatyagis is very much like that. Gauna sannyasinaha paramatma jnanavataha. And then they have paramatma jnana also. They have studied something. Deha vimana rahitasya, and they don't have too much of, so both the things they are taking. Paramatma jnanavatah deha vimana rahitasya sarva karma tyaginaha. So first category is karma phalatyagi, the second category is sarva karma tyagi, because he's a deha vimana rahita paramatma jnanavan, and therefore he is a sarva karma sannyasi. No identification with body, and he is focused on the self only. Sarva karma tyaginaha muksha sannyasinascha. And then he's a muksha sannyasi. He's not a gauna sannyasi. He is really, in the real sense, he's not a model of an aeroplane. It's like you have a model of an aeroplane and you have the aeroplane, isn't it? Similarly, they are not models of sannyasa. He is sannyasi himself or herself. Mukhya sannyasinascha कह फले विशेषो यद अल्हावे ना, उन दोनों में कौन सा स्पेशलिटी है? What is special about these two? What is special about the muksha sannyasis? If you don't get that, yad alhavena ganutvam ekasya, because of the absence of that speciality, one sannyasi is considered to be gauna sannyasi. For the namesake is considered to be a sannyasi. Yad labhena, and then if you get that speciality, if you have that, so mukshatvam anyasya, and that paramarthadarshi, a sarvakarma sannyasi, is considered to be a muksha sannyasi. What is that? Karma phala tyagi tam tu dvayor api tulyam. कर्म फल त्याग तो दोनों में है. मुख्य सन्यासी भी कर्म फल त्याग कर दिया है. और जो कर्म फल त्यागी लाइक जनक, he is also karma phala tyagi. Karma phala tyaga is common to both of them. So what is so special? What is so special about the sarva karma sannyasi? because of which you are considering him to be the main sannyasi. Dvayor opi tulyam iti anyo vishesha vachyaha. So you please explain what is so special about the Sarvakarma sannyasis. See, Bhagavan has so far explained Trividha Tyaga Rupa. What are the kinds of renunciations? Now he's concluding by referring to the highest level of renunciation, which is renunciation not only of karma phala tyaga, but also karma tyaga. But that is the end of the journey. That is the last leg of your relay race. In the last leg, you are taking Vividisa sannyasa because you are desiring Atmajnana. You will go and study Vedanta. So you are dropping all activities. That is what is referring to. Anishtam ishtam mishram cha trividam karmanaha phalam. And he is referring to everyone here, including the Gauna sannyasis. Bhavati bhavati atyaginam pritya natu sannyasinam kvachiti. So this happens to the atyagis, but not for sannyasis. Now there is still some doubt whether the tyagi, phalatyagi, and sarvakarma sannyasi or sannyasi also means phalatyagi. That doubt will be removed in the long dialogue which Madhusudana Saraswati starts here. अत्यागी नाम कर्म फल त्यागी त्वेपि जो अत्यागी है, that means he is not a complete sarvakarma sannyasi. Karma phala tyagi tvepi, but he has done karma phala tyaga. He has renounced craving for results. Karma anushtiyanam, karmanushthainam ajnanam. And he's a karma anusthai. Karma ka anushthan karta hai. He observes, like Janaka Maharshi, like Vasishta. These were all Atmajnas, isn't it? They were doing still. Vasishta was married, he had 100 sons. Karmanushthainam ajnanam. But they were all Vidva sannyasis. Ye ajnanam, that means they are not Atmajna. Gauna sannyasinam. मोक्ष मुमुक्षु हैं, आत्मज्ञान नहीं है. अज्ञ मतलब मुमुक्षु नहीं है. We cannot say this. Somebody is not, he has not taken, somebody is not married. Can you say he doesn't want to get married? He's not married. You cannot say that he doesn't want to get married or he hates women. Can you say that? No. Why should you say that? He has not said it like this. He's a bachelor, he's studying in a college, or he just got a job, he's planning how to financially stabilize himself. Similarly, the guy who is a sarva karma phalatyagi, he's only doing karma yoga, nishkama karma yoga. You cannot rule out the fact that there is a strong desire in him for sannyasa and atmajnana. We are calling him, that's why, Gauna sannyasi. We call him a Baba also, right? Oh, he's like a Baba, he forgives others, he loves others, he's very compassionate. So we also respect him as a sannyasi, but he is actually a karma yogi, nishkama karma yogi. Sannyasanam pritya, that means after death. Vividisa paryanta sattva suddhehe prageva. Now they have Vividisa, but they have not taken Vividisa sannyasa. Prag eva sattva suddhehe, and before pure, complete purification of their mind, that sattva suddhi hasn't happened. Prageva mritanam purvakritasya karmanaha phalam sarira grahanam bhavati. Now they fall dead. Bhagavan was asked the same question by Arjuna. Bhagavan said, you have to do karma. Then you have to do nishkama karma. You have to do phalatyaga. You have to do Ishwar arapana buddhi. I am going to be yoga khyamam vahamyam. Then you forget everything. And then you will do karma tyaga finally. You will take Vividisa sannyasa. Arjuna says, Mera, I'll spend all my life doing all this. You are making it too long. And then I start studying. It's very difficult. And suddenly I die in the middle. What happens? What was Bhagavan's answer? He shall be born in a very conducive condition to start his sadhana from there on. So he doesn't have to again do all this. Maybe he will have strong vairagya at a very early age because he has finished all these karmas in the previous life. You have done it. So, Arjuna, if you are reborn, you will start from there. You straight away will be interested in Upanishads. You will meet a guru and you will study. And then maybe you will have great siddhis and you will be a great yogi. Arjuna was a very big Siddha Purusha, isn't it? He had no weakness for women. He was the greatest fighter. He had no craving for wealth. There is a very sincere purpose behind Bhagavan choosing Arjuna as the student of Bhagavad Gita. Whereas Yudhishthira was a Punyatma, he didn't have those qualities which Arjuna had. Arjuna was confused, but look at him. He was the greatest warrior, but he is feeling philosophical, antardvanda or moral conflict within. He's not a common person. Yudhishthira didn't feel it, but he felt it. Why? Because of his punya, loads of punya inside. And then he got all this wealth and he handed it over for the Aswamedha Yajna. That's why he's called Dhananjaya. He fought and he couldn't be defeated by Lord Shiva. He's a great fighter. So with all this, Bhagavan chooses him. He is the fittest candidate because he has the capacity. He deserves to take sannyas. A person who doesn't have anything, what sannyas he will take? But he has the kingdom, he had done, but he wants to run away from his duty. So Bhagavan is telling him, don't run away. I mean, that's an advice to everyone in samsara, that first, realize your potential, do your duties, do the sattva-suddhis, and I shall take you on the path of knowledge. And therefore, Bhagavan has explained how he has to be reborn if he dies before Atma-jnana. Karmana phala sarira grahanam bhavati. Maya mayam phalgutaya layam adarsanam gacchati iti niruktehe. Why this sarira grahanam is referred to as Maya Maya by Sankaracharya? Because you see, the sarira is Maya Maya. Why? It's not real. It doesn't last too long. And you remember that beautiful poem by Seneca. I think the play's name is Phaedra, where Phaedra is actually having kind of a desire, some attraction for her own stepson. And the stepson is wise, and his stepmother is very young, and he's saying, "You are so proud of your beauty, O beauty, but a dubious boon, lent for a while, and all too soon passing away. It comes, but it runs away." It's like the green grass gets scorched on the burning sun. The head must forget the glory of its hair. The beautiful hair, they say, there on the head, you become bald after a while. And then the eyes, which appear so beautiful, the skin, they all suffer wrinkles. Of course, now you have Botox and you have a lot of what you call cosmetic surgery and stuff like that, right? So people permanently want to remain young. It costs a lot of money, but people can afford it. But coming back to our thing, this sarira is Maya Maya. It's out of avidya and out of Maya. That is the upadana karana. Sattva, Tama, and Rajas. This Trigunatmika Maya, it creates this sansara, and this sarira is part of that, is Maya Maya. Falgutaya layam adasan gachati. It's delusional and it vanishes in a while. Iti niruktehe, in the nirukta, that shastra, that text. Karmana iti jati yati abhiprayam ekavachanam ekasya trivida phalatva anupapattehe. Now he's explaining. He has to explain. He's a great commentator. Karmanaha. Karmanaha, when you say, you are actually saying of karma, ekavachana. Sixth case. Okay? Singular number. So how can one karma have three results? So he's saying, look here, by karmanaha, don't imagine it's one act, but it's a class of activities. What are those activities? Of the karma yoga, whole process, with phala asanga, without phala asanga. But all case of karmas, the class of activities of connecting with the sansara. Tatcha phalam karmaha trividatva trividham. The karma is also three kinds, isn't it? So you have with phalasanga, without phalasanga, and then you have sarvakarma sannyasis, and then the phalas are also three kinds. Sorry, the karmas are of three kinds, right? You do bihita karma, pratisiddha karma, or mishra karma. You can do all the shastra bihita karma, punya karmas. You can do papa karmas, or you can do a mixture of papa punya. Accordingly, the outcomes will also be either punya sharira, deva sharira, or because of papaja, so you become an animal or reptile or anything, or papa punya mishrita. Okay, you take a human body, mixed results. So, because of the causes, you'll also have three kinds of trividam phalam. Iti upapattehe phalat. Okay, Then, papasya anishtam pratikula vedaniyam. We have studied earlier, right? In this sansara, everybody wants to do papa, but doesn't want papa phala. Papa phala is painful, but we want to do papa, but we don't want papa phala. We want punya phala, which is good result and respect and adulation and love and peace, everything. These are punya phalas. But we don't want to do the punyas like charity, helping others, being honest, being impartial. We don't want to do all that. When sansara is full of papa, hating papa phala at the same time, and absence of punya and craving for punya phala at the same time. That's why he's saying that that papasya anishtam pratikula vedaniyam naraka tiryagadi lakshanam. Naraka and tiryak, this animal, birth and etc. Punyasya ishtam anukula vedaniyam. Something you like. Anukula vedaniyam means which is positive. When you experience, it's conducive. You like it. Devadi lakshanam, then you'll be like a god in a celestial body. Mishrasya tu papa punya yugalasya. You have papa and punya together. Mishram anishtam ishtam sanyuktam. So you have together both ishta anishta. Something bad, something good. Manushya lakshanam ityevam trividham iti anavado heyatvarthaha. So he's saying that these phalas all are the trividha phalas. Okay. And these are not upadhyaya. You should not be too much obsessed with these phalas because the sarira you get is mayamaya. Evam gauna sannyasina. This also includes the gauna sannyasis, which means karma phalatyagis. Sarira patat urdhvam. Their body falls. What happens after that? Sarirantara grahanam avasyakam iti uktva. They have to have another body. And you'll explain why rebirth is required for people like Janaka. Why they have to take rebirth, he's explaining. Mukhya sannyasinam paramatma sakshatkarena, because they have paramatma sakshatkara, they have self-realization. Avidya tatakarya, the phala, the sarira, is the outcome of a cause. What is that cause? Ignorance. Inability to realize that the self is no different from the Brahman. We are not this body. We are not our name. We are not our fame. That jnana. So the avidya is there, then you are trapped in the body. Avidya is not there, why should there be rebirth? So he's saying avidya tatkarya, the nibrito. Avidya band ho gaya. The cause is put to an end. You put an end to the cause, the effect is also eliminated. Nibrito Videha Kaivalyam Eva. So he gets Videha Kaivalya. That happens when the person dies. Interestingly, there is, as we have discussed earlier, there is a stage called Jivana Mukti Avastha. I can look at Ramana Maharshi, Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa, several other people. They do Leela. They are Jivan Muktas. They play like children. Okay. We have like Nigamananda Saraswati and so many other people. Sri Anirvan from Bengal. They were all Jivana Muktas. They lived an external life, but inside they absolutely had no attachment to anything. Those kinds of people, or Sri Aurobindo, so those kinds of people, the saying, but there is still some avidya lesha because of which they suffer diseases, there could be anxieties. Like, for example, Sri Aurobindo was chased by the British guys who were sending a lot of spies to keep an eye on him as to what he's doing. These kinds of things are there, isn't it? Videha kaivalyam eva. When the body falls, then the possibility of any pain or pleasure comes to an end. So even in the Kashmiri Shaivism, they believe that ultimate moksha is possible only when the sadhak ultimately discards this biological body. That's what also they say this. And in the Vedanta, the word is videha kaivalyam, ultimate release. When the body falls, he doesn't come back again. Natu sannyasinam kvachit paramatma jnanavatam mukhya sannyasinam paramansa parivrajakaanam pretyakarmanah phalam sarira grahanam अनिष्टम इष्टम मिश्रम च क्वचित देशे काले वा न भवति एव इति अवधारणार्थः तु शब्दः. So he's in Bhagavan, if you look at the shloka, what he says, na tu sannyasinam kvachit, na tu. That tu, why he's saying, this particular sarirantara grahanam, taking another body, is necessary for the normal people and also even for karma tyagis who are gauna sannyasis, but not for the mukhya sannyasis. Why? Because they have videha kaivalya. So this doesn't apply to them. Tathacha srutihi. Then he's explaining why they will not be reborn. Bhidyate hridaya granthis chidyante sarva sansayaha shiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishti paravare. When he realizes, he reaches that level, then his the doubt, the knot of ignorance is completely, destroyed, and all the doubts are removed. Shiyate chasya karmani, the sanchita karma and the agami karma, they are also removed. Only prarabdha karma is there till the body is around. He will appear as if he is happy or sad. Actually, he is neither. It's other students, his relatives, his friends. They will see Guruji ko kast ho raha hai, but he is not actually affected. Tasmin drishti paravare. Paramarshacha Sutram Badarayana Vedavyasa in the Brahma Sutras he's saying Tad Adhigama Uttara Purvayor Aslesa Vinaso Tad Vepadesat. We have discussed that again and again. So Aslesa Vinaso. So the Sanchita karma is vinasta, it's destroyed once we have Atma Jnana. Because otherwise moksha is not possible. Billions and billions of birth we have had, and we have a lot of karmas, a lot of punyas, a lot of papas. If punya karma is also there, we cannot be liberated. Why? अच्छे घर पे पैदा होंगे, फिर कुछ सुख अनुभव करेंगे. पाप कर्म है, कुछ कष्ट भोगेंगे. So it will continue. So how the Shastra comes to a conclusion, how removes the doubt regarding liberation, says that the sanchita karma is vinasta, and the agami karma, there is aslesa, no connectivity with it. Some karmas will happen because we are still having the body after Atma Jnana, but the guru is not touched by it. That's why they say any punya or papa karma which happens through the body of the guru, like he's walking, by mistake he puts his leg on maybe a rat or something, the rat dies. There is papa, no? But the guru doesn't suffer. He's Atma Jnani. What happens? People who are troubling that Atma Jnani, they take the load of his papas. And then he does some samajika kriya, he helps people. Where does that punya go? That punya goes to these people who are helping him and who are respectful towards him. That is how some of the Vedanta commentators have mentioned that there are other people who have the inheritance, like the person dies, his property, and there are liabilities and assets are divided amongst children. So the liabilities of the guru goes to people who are troubling that guru or criticizing him, and the assets go to the people who are helping him or respecting him. And that is what Shastra says. Now, so there is aslesa vinasa tad vyapadesat, and therefore he is getting liberated. Iti paramatma jnanat asesa karma kyayam darshayati. So comprehensive end of all the karmic load on us comes to an end. Therefore, one is liberated. Tena gauna sannyasinam punah sansara mukhya sannyasinam tu mukhya iti phale vishesa uktaha. What is that vishesa phala which separates the gauna sannyasis and the mukhya sannyasis? Sampurna atma jnana and sampurna karma nashta. Now, these who are mumukhyus and they are karma phalatyagis, they are still doing karma. They are actually not bound by it. It is true they are not bound by it. But the past load of karmas, because they don't have Atma Jnana, the savings of Papa Punya still is there with them. Once they are in that Nishkama Karma Yoga, henceforth, they are also as good as Jnanis, because already they are doing karma by surrendering to God, isn't it? So on a particular day, a Grihastha decides to become a great Vaishnava and leaves everything, lives a life at the feet of Lord Krishna or Ramji or Ma Durga or Kali or whatever. And he's living a life of dedication. He's a karma sannyas. He's a nishkama karma yogi. So he's a karma phalatyagi. So because he's living a life of non-attachment to the phalas, he cannot have bandhas. That is what Bhagavan has explained earlier. Because he's a karma, he's a nitya sannyasi, so he's not suffering. What about all the karmas he has done in this life? His prarabdha, his sanchita, and all the sanchita karma he has. Therefore, the load of punya karmas for previous lives and papa karmas for previous lives, they are still there with him. He is not adding any positive or negative. He's adding a lot of positives, punya karmas, by this karma falatyaga. He will have loads of punya also. But this fellow actually is still not Atmagyani. And therefore, the load of karma, previous karmas, positive, negative, are still there. That is why he will be reborn. That's what he will explain. Atra kaschid aha, that is Sridhara Swami and Nilakanthas and others, he is referring to them. Anasritaha karma phalam, karyam karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha. He says, saying, no, we have some Mahabharata, the other places is written that anasritaha karma phalam, he is not looking for karma phalam, usko आश्रय नहीं करता है. Karyam karmam karma karoti yaha, the person who is doing this activity and achieving that result, he is not absolutely attached to it. He is a samasevi. He is living for others. What happens to him? Sa sannyasi cha. He is also sannyasi. Which means what? He shall not be reborn. That indication. He is saying, no, no, let's not talk like this. He is explaining. Ityadu karma phala tyagishu sannyasi sabda prayogat karminaha eva atra. Phala tyaga sannyasat samyat sannyasi savadena grihyante. He is saying, karma phala tyaga samyat. That is equal in case of sarva karma sannyasi. Also in case of karma phala tyagis, who are nishkama karma yogis, who are surrendered to God. Both are similar. Therefore, they are both sannyasis. Tesam cha satvikanam nitya karma anushthanena. And then these kinds of people who are sannyasis in such an argument, and they are only doing nitya karmas out of a sense of duty. Nishiddha karma ananushthanecha. सो निषिद्ध कर्म नहीं करते हैं, जो शास्त्र में मना किया गया है वो काम नहीं करते हैं. They don't tell lies, they don't cheat others, they don't hurt others, they don't behave rudely with anyone, and they don't take, say, non-vegetarian food. Whatever is said, no. So they don't do it. That kind of a guy, cha papa asambhavat. So he is not doing anishtam phalam sambhavati. So in his case, na anishtam phalam sambhavati. The phala is of three kinds: anishta, ishta, and a mishra. In case of the karma phala tyagi, is he doing any anishta karma? No. अनिष्ट फल नहीं हो सकता है, नहीं हो सकता. Why? अनिष्ट कर्म नहीं कर रहा है. He is not doing शास्त्र प्रतिसिद्ध कर्माणि, and therefore he shall not suffer any anishta phalani. So he will not have tiryaki yoni prapti. He will not be reborn as a reptile or an animal. Ruled out? Okay, next. Napi istam kamya ananushthanat. Will he become a god? No. Why? He has stopped doing kamya karmas. He doesn't want any ishta. He's a karma yogi. He's surrendered to Lord Krishna. He's doing it for the sake of it. So he's not having kamya karma. He's not doing yagas to go to Swarga or become Indra Deva. So he'll not be any of this. So ishta, anishta, both the phalas are removed. Now, finally, Ishwar arpanayana phalasya tyaktatvat, and he's surrendering all the good things, surrendering to the feet of the Lord. So he's not going to take the benefit of punyas. अनिष्ट नहीं होगा तो इष्ट भी नहीं किया, तो इष्टानिष्ट मिश्रण कैसे होगा? जब कोई अनिष्ट काम बिल्कुल नहीं करता है और कोई काम्य कर्म भी नहीं करता है, तो मिश्र कर्म कैसे हो सकता है? When you say mishra, you are saying some mixture of anishta and ishta karma. Then he will be reborn as a human being. This fellow has stopped doing anishta karmas and he has stopped doing ishta karmas. Whatever he is doing, surrendering to Lord Krishna. How can he come back? That is what these people are doing, which is a very generous point of view. Ata eva mishram api na iti trividha karma phala asambhavaha. Therefore, this trividha phala is not possible also in case of a karma phala tyagi like Janaka or a karma sanya. Karma phala tyagi or a karma yogi who is doing it everything and surrendering it to the Lord of the universe. Beautiful, isn't it? Ata eva uktam. Now comes the answer. And he's first quoting in favor of the above argument. Moksharthina pravarteta tatra kamya nishiddhayo. जिसको मोक्ष चाहिए, ना काम्य कर्म करना चाहिए, ना निषिद्ध कर्म करना चाहिए. काम्य करेगा तो इष्ट फल मिलेगा, पुण्य के वास्ते उसको फिर अच्छा भोग करने के लिए आना पड़ेगा. निषिद्ध कर्म करने का तो भोगना पड़ेगा नरक यंत्रणा या पाप योनि में जन्म होना. Both the things he will not have. Nitya naimitike kuryat. only do nitya and naimittika karmas with a sense of falatyaga. Pratyavaya jihasaya. So pratyavaya, the anishta, the punishment that you suffer for not doing sraddham or tarpanam, pitrisarthas, and doing whatever you're supposed to do, the nitya naimittika karmas is for the shastras, that only one should do, Ishwara Arpana Buddhya. So he's quoted it now. This is from Shloka Vartika of Kumari Lavetta. Now coming back. Response. सवक्तव्य उनको कहना चाहिए क्या शब्दस्य अर्थस्य च मर्यादा न निराधारी भवता इति आपने तो ठीक से सन्यासी शब्द को समझा नहीं निर्धारण भी नहीं कर पाया that is what he's saying you have not been able to understand what is meant by the word sannyasi okay तथा ही गौण मुख्योर मुख्ये कार्य संप्रत्ययः इति शब्द मर्यादा where there is a use of a sentence gaunattvena and then somewhere else is referred to as mukhyatvena. Now there is a boy in the class, okay, and that boy is very brilliant. He also wins you a lot of awards in inter-school competitions, okay. So all the boys in the class address that boy as Masterji because he generally can solve their problems. Okay. And he's the class monitor. So he's out of love and affection, is addressed as Masterji by all other students. Like you are a bright student in university, you remember, people say, "Hi, professor, how are you?" So you are addressed as a professor, but you are a student. Now, the main professor in the classroom, will others address you as a professor? They will address you as a professor for the heck of fun. When the main professor, the Mukhyata, Savdartha is not available. So out of fun there, okay. So once you find that person, then obviously the Mukhya Karya Sampratyaya, then you have to make use of that Mukhyartha. If it is there, iti savda maryada. Yatha amavasyayam aparanhe pitru pinda pitri yagyena saranti. Now, he's slowly taking it to a bit of an academic argument in Mimamsa Darshana, and he will solve this by saying, you see, in Mimamsa, we have something called hermeneutics. Hermeneutics is the science of making sense of texts, and there are different rules in Mimamsa as to how to interpret the Vedic injunctions. That is Mimamsa Darshan all about. A lot of interesting people, even in the West, are very curious about this. And a lot of jurisprudence experts are also curious about it because these are all interpretation of laws. So obviously, there's a bit of, some people are also working on jurisprudence which is hidden in the Vedas because there's a lot of argument how to make sense of a certain sentence. Now we are hit upon by this kind of a situation where there is some bit of a sastrartha, how to make sense of a sentence which seems to be conveying two different meanings. Why is he doing it? In order to drive home the meaning of sannyasi as sarvakarma sannyasi. Please keep that in mind. Then this part will become very easy for you. Because if you forget it, then this debate will become very painful to deal with. Yatha amavasyayam aparanne pinda pitryagyena saranti. Amavasyayam, that means seventh case, saptama vibhakti. अमावास्या में अपराह्न को मतलब in the afternoon pinda pitra yajna saranti. So you will do this pinda pitra yajna. That is the injunction. Okay. So that is mentioned in the Vedas. Now, what is the meaning of the word amavasya? That is the point. And what is the meaning of the word pinda pitra yajna? There is a rule for saying that if you say dadhna juhati, so dahi ke saath dadna juhati indriya kamaha. You want to strengthen your indriyas, your sense organs, then you do ahuti for Indra Devata, and then you use this curd as ahuti for sacrifice, for this material which is used for the yaga. Now, dadhana here is a guna because you're using that as a material for this. Okay? Give me a little time.